I've hit go live, but I've never trusted it and I never will. Claims it's setting up my meeting on Facebook Live. Maybe, possibly. My tea today is Twinings Winter Spice, which has like this nice sort of apple flavor to it. Some apple, just like a tiny hint of like cinnamon and clove. It's surprisingly nice even without sugar, which is rare. That's also very soothing, which is nice because I did not sleep. So I chugged it and I'm live. All right, so we can stop talking about Dr. Pepper's and other things like that and start talking about books that Mobile Public Library has pre-ordered and will be coming to you in August. We are already on August. The summer is just flying by, except not really. It feels like June was a million days long. Maybe July will be faster. We shall see. We shall find out. So today we're going to talk about hits. So this is essentially things that are on our new book list. So like a new book list preview. And see, it's July 29th. I don't know why I'm sharing my screen. You and I both know, let's stop share because that's silliness, that we're going to do the giveaway first anyway. So before we get into August hits, I will tell you that I've chosen a bunch of hits today that are standalones or beginning of a series. For all the series updates, even though I know you may be anticipating them hotly, I put them on a discussion board post on our Goodreads page or our Goodreads group. So if you're thinking that there might be another installment of your favorite series, you might want to go just skim that discussion, that little note that I put up, and see if it's there. So you can find out that way. I don't do that. Have I explained this before? I don't end up introducing them on the show because I feel like I have to explain the entire series to explain the book, and that just slows everything down a lot. But based on the watch times, many of you are here for the giveaway, which I understand. I too like free books. The last time I got to travel was the end of February 2020. I got to go to the Public Library Association conference. I took home so many free books that I had to leave a pile of them in the hotel room. And then I had to like panic reshuffle at the gate because my bag was too heavy. So I understand the want and need of free books. Today I realized I have like this big pile of contemporary fiction. So books that are fictional, but are set in the present time. And they aren't necessarily more general fiction, so not directly a romance, a thriller, but still possibly an interesting book that you would enjoy. And I have 7 different titles, and one of them I have 2 copies of. So I see no reason that anybody should come away from this without a book. There's a book you're interested in. If there's more than one book you're interested in, by all means, list more than one. I will take, if you're the first person to ask for the first one, you'll get that one. If somebody's already gotten that one, I will give you the second one on your list. Just put whichever titles you like and your MPL location for pickup, which is very important, in the comments below. And I'll start sending them out as soon as the show's over. So let's go over the contemporary fiction I'm giving away, starting with Good Eggs. It is by Rebecca Hardiman. And this came out, this only came out in March, so this is still a fairly new book. It's a hilarious and heartfelt debut novel from 3 generations of an Irish family at a crossroads, perfect for fans of Where'd You Go, Bernadette? And Evie Drake Starts Over. When Kevin, the last name's weird, Gogarty, Gogarty? When Kevin Gogarty's irrepressible 83-year-old mother, Millie, is caught shoplifting again, he has no choice but to hire a caretaker to keep an eye on her. Kevin, recently unemployed, is already at his wits' end, tending to a full house while his wife travels to exotic locales for work, leaving him to tussle solo with a sulky, misbehaving teenager whose troubles escalate when she befriends the campus rebel at her new boarding school. In the Go-Gardy's fray steps Sylvia, Millie's upbeat American homemaid, who appears at first to be their saving grace until she catapults the Go-Gardy clan into the greatest crisis yet. With charm, humor, and pathos to spare, Good Eggs is a delightful study in self-determination, the notion that it's never too late to start living, and the unique redemption that family, despite its maddening flaws, can offer. So that is Good Eggs. Here we go. I only have one copy of this one. Okay. This is a slim little book. Turbulence by David. How do we want to pronounce that? Sally? It can't be Sally, right? There's no way. Sally? Maybe? No clue. So let's just find the description and find out what Turbulence is about. Okay. A woman strikes up a conversation with a man sitting next to her on a plane after some turbulence. He returns home to tragic news that has also impacted another stranger, a shaken pilot on his way to a different continent, who seeks comfort from a journalist he meets that night. Her life shifts subtly as well before she heads to the airport on assignment that will transform more lives in turn. In this wondrously profound, moving novel, author's last name, diverse protagonists circumvent the planet in 12 flights, from London to Madrid, from Dakar to Sao Paulo, to Toronto, to Delhi, to Doha, en route to see lovers or estranged siblings, aging parents, baby grandchildren, or nobody at all. All along the way, they experience the full range of human emotions, from loneliness to love, and knowing or otherwise, change each other in one brief, electrifying interaction after the next. Written with magic and economy and beautifully exploring the delicate crisscross nature of relationships today, Turbulence is a dazzling portrait of an interconnectedness of the modern world. That's Turbulence. I bet this one's a nice quick read. I bet you could get through that in like a Saturday, probably, don't you think? Okay, so Turbulence. I only have one copy of that. Staying Up with Hugo Best by Eric Summers. This is the book. Look at the book. Let's go get the description. June Bloom is a broke, cynical 29-year-old writer's assistant on the late night comedy show Staying Up with Hugo Best. Hugo Best is in his 60s, a beloved icon of TV and humor, and a notorious womanizer. After he unexpectedly retires and a party is held for his now unemployed staff, Hugo winds up inviting June to his mansion in Greenwich for a long Memorial Day weekend. No funny business, he insists. June, in need of a job and money, confident she can handle herself, accepts. The exact terms of the visit are never spelled out, but June is realistic enough to guess. Even so, the weekend unfolds, and the enigmatic Hugo gradually reveals himself, their dynamic prowess to be much more complicated and less predictable than she expected. At once hilarious and poignant, brilliantly incisive, and terrifically propulsive, Stay Up with Hugo Best is an incredibly timely exploration of sexual politics in the modern age and the unforgivable story of one young woman stumbling into adulthood. So I keep saying Staying Up with Hugo Best, but it's Stay Up with Hugo Best. And there's only one of that one. Okay. And I keep saying that because there's two of this book. So if you want The Cave Dwellers by Christina McDowell, then two people will get copies of this. This is, okay, it's a compulsively readable novel in the vein of The Bonfire of the Vanities by Way of the Nest, about what Washington, D.C.'s high society members do away from the Capitol building and behind the closed doors of their suburban mansions. Okay. There, the family is considered worthy of a listing in the exclusive Green Book, a discriminative diary created by the niece of Edith Roosevelt's social secretary. Their aristocratic bloodlines are woven into the very fabric of Washington, generation after generation. Their old money and manners lurk in the cobblestone streets of Georgetown, Calamara, and Capitol Hill. They socialize only within their inner circle, turning a blind eye to those who come and go on the political merry-go-round. Parents and their children live life free of consequences in the gilded existence of power and privilege. But what they have failed to understand is that the world is changing. And when the family of one of their own is held hostage and brutally murdered, everything about their legacy is called into question. They're called the cave dwellers. Okay, so that's the cave dwellers. We have 3 more because there's lots of books today. This is Lurkers by Sandy Tan. Yep, Sandy Tan. Lurkers. All right. This is from author and filmmaker Sandy Tan, director of the acclaimed documentary Shirkers. Comes a novel about a neighborhood of immigrants, seekers, lovers, and lurkers. In a suburban LA neighborhood, neighbors keep wary, distance, and at times collide, propelled by desire, fury, and mischief. Precocious Korean American sisters, Mira and Rosemary, find their world rocked by a suicide. A charismatic and creepy drama teacher grooms his students. An aging gay horror novelist fights loneliness, and a white mother and her adopted Vietnamese daughter deal with lifelong anger issues. Spanning decades and bringing together a diverse and interlocked group of stories, Lurkers is a Los Angeles masterpiece, showing Sandy Tan's fiction to be as formative and exciting as her filmmaking. So that should be very interesting. I think this one, did this come out this year too? Yeah, this came out in March. This is fairly new. I've got a few that are new today. This one's a little older. This is 2018. This is called Staying by Molly McCloskey. This is from an extravagantly gifted writer who deserves to be widely read. This intimate, quietly stunning novel tells the story of a young American expat who settles in Ireland in the late 1980s, marries, and lives through the consequences of an affair. So this is about Alice. Alice arrives in the west of Ireland with no plans and few attachments beside her relationship to her mother back in the US. After falling in love and marrying an Irishman, Alice settles down in a place whose customs she struggles to understand. Then, over a single hot summer, she embarks on an affair that sets her life on a new course. Years later, following her mother's death and stints in war zones around the world, Alice returns to Ireland, contemplating the forces that led her to put down roots only to tear them up again. So that's called Straying. Go. And our last one also came out in March, and I just got a hold of this. This is very new to me. Red Island House by Andrea Lee. This is from a National Book Award nominated writer, an epic, gorgeously evocative novel about love and identity, following 2 decades in the marriage between an African-American professor and her wealthy Italian husband as it unfolds on the remote and mysterious island of Madagascar. So Shay is surprised when her husband, Cinna, declares his intention to build her a spectacular dream house on the idyllic beach in the tropical island nation of Madagascar. But the red house casts a spell from the moment she sees it, and before she knows it, Shay has become the somewhat reluctant mistress of a sprawling household, caught between her privileged American upbringing and education and her connection to the continent of her ancestors. At first, she's content to be an observer of the passionate affairs and fierce ambitions and rivalries around her. But as she and her husband raise children and establish their own friends on the island, Shay finds herself drawn ever deeper into an extraordinary place with its own laws and logic, a provocative paradise full of magic and myth whose fraught colonial legacy continues to reverberate. Soon, the collision of cultures comes right to Shay's door, forcing her to make a life-altering decision. A sweeping novel about marriage and loyalty, identity and heritage, fate and freedom, Red Island House reintroduces readers to a powerful literary voice and an extravagantly lush, enchanted world. So that's Red Island House. If you would like any of these 7 novels, I think I said earlier was 7. Again, put the name of the book or books you're interested in and the location for pickup in the comments below. I will start picking people out as soon as I'm finished with this live broadcast, and I'll continue doing it. Let's go through the rest of the week through Saturday morning. I'm not doing an episode next week because we kind of have a shortened week and that makes it a little more difficult to do. So I won't be back for 2 weeks, but I do want to finish up the giveaway this week. But I got plenty to give away, so everybody should get some, even if you didn't watch it live. All right, let's go into August hits. I will share my screen so you can see my pretty slides that I made for you with the book covers and everything. Yes, present, of course. Okay. So, Teen New Book Tuesday for June 29th. Let's go. We've done our giveaway. Now we're ready to do August hits, the most anticipated books of August coming your way. Number 1 is, of course, James Patterson, because it's not a month unless there's a James Patterson book. And of course, he has a co-author who is something Barker, J.D. Barker. So we know that Patterson wrote the outline and Barker actually wrote it. But if you love Patterson, this is coming out. I try not to make too much fun of him, even though I really want to make fun of him. If you like James Patterson, go on liking him. Don't let me stop you. Enjoy what you're reading. Don't let me being, a mischievous jerk, halt you in something you're enjoying. Anyway, The Noise by James Patterson and J.D. Barker. In the shadow of Mount Hood, 16-year-old Tennant is catching rabbit traps with her 8-year-old sister Sophie when the girls are suddenly overcome by a strange vibration rising out of the forest, building in intensity until it sounds like a deafening crescendo of screams. From out of nowhere, their father sweeps them up and drops them through a trap door into a storm cellar. But the sound only gets worse. This is described as both a thriller and kind of as horror. That description does sound relatively horrifying. So if you like your Patterson a little bit darker, this might be for you. We are also getting it as an audiobook. If you're interested in The Noise by James Patterson and J.D. Barker, it comes out August 16th. All right, this is another returning best-selling author, although, fewer bestsellers under her belt than Patterson, because almost every best-selling author has fewer bestsellers under their belt than Patterson, except maybe Stephen King, I guess. Maybe Danielle Steele. Maybe I'm not giving her or what's J.D. Robb's real name? Can't remember. What is J.D. Robb's real name? I know that. It starts with R-O-B as well. Nora Roberts. That's her name. Okay. Also prolific writers. But moving on to this book, Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. She wrote Mexican Gothic, which was considered one of the better books of, I think, last year. I'm almost positive last year. It was last year. This book is set in 1970s Mexico City. Mate is a secretary who lives for one thing, the latest issue of Secret Romance. But while student protests and political unrest consume the city, Mate escapes into stories of passion and danger. Okay. When her next-door neighbor, the beautiful art student Leonora, goes missing, Mate finds herself searching for the missing woman and journeying deeper into Leonora's secret life of student radicals and dissidents. Meanwhile, someone else is looking for Leonora at the behest of his boss. Elvis is an eccentric criminal who longs to escape his own life. But as Elvis searches for the missing woman, he comes to observe Mate from a distance and grows more and more obsessed with this woman who shares his love of music and the unspoken loneliness of his heart. Now, Mate and Elvis come closer to discovering the truth behind Leonora's disappearance. They can no longer escape the danger that threatens to consume their lives, with hitman, government agents, and Russian spies all aiming to protect Leonora's secrets at gunpoint. Velvet Was the Night is an edgy, simmering historical novel for level. Let's try that again. I was doing so well and I was like on a run, and then I didn't stop to breathe soon enough. Okay. Velvet Was the Night is an edgy, simmering historical novel for lovers of smoky noirs and anti-heroes. It already got a starred review from Publishers Weekly. If you're interested in Velvet Was the Night, it comes out August 17th. Moving on to another highly prolific writer, maybe one of the only people with more bestsellers than James Patterson. He might not have more, though. I think King only has a mere 80 or so. I say that like that's easy. It's not easy. At any rate, Billy Summers by Stephen King is coming out. Billy Summers is a man in a room with a gun. He's a killer for hire and the best in the business. And he'll do the job only if the target is a truly bad guy. And now Billy wants out. But there is one last hit. Billy is against the best snipers in the world, a dedicated Iraq war vet, a Houdini when it comes to vanishing after the job is done. So what could possibly go wrong? How about everything? This already got a starred review from Kirkus. The publication librarians read to find out why not to buy a book. We are also buying it on audio. So if you are interested in Billy Summers by Stephen King, it comes out August 3rd. All right. Cul-de-sac by Joy Fielding. So a shooting lay bare the secrets harbored by 5 families in a sleepy suburban cul-de-sac in this riveting psychological thriller from the New York Times bestselling author of All the Wrong Places. Someone on this quiet, unassuming cul-de-sac will be shot dead in the middle of a sultry July night. Will it be Maggie, the perfectionist wife, or Craig, the husband who can't quite live up to her expectations? They've packed up their 2 children and fled their life in California, hoping for a fresh start in Florida, only to find the demons of the past hovering on their doorstep. Maybe it will be Nick, a highly respected oncologist, or his wife Danny, a successful dentist, both with well-kept secrets of their own. Or Julia, an elderly widow whose troubled grandson has recently moved in with her, introducing unsavory habits and even more unsavory acquaintances into her formerly quiet existence. Then there's Olivia and her husband, Sean. Having lost his job at a prestigious advertising agency, Sean is depressed, resentful of his working wife, and drinking heavily. He is also prone to increasingly violent fantasies. And what of the newlyweds, Aiden and Heidi, whose marriage is already on the rocks due to Aiden's reluctance to stand up to his intrusive mother? Matters aren't helped when Heidi befriends Julia's grandson, setting the stage for a major blowout. A diverse group of neighbors, to be sure, yet all harbor secrets, all bear scars, and all have access to guns. Not all will survive the night. This got a starred review from Booklist, so it's already got good reviews. If you are interested in a note on this title, several things have come out in the last few years called Cul-de-sac. Something that came out earlier this year or late last year was Cul-de-sac Wars. So if you go searching for this, you want to put in Cul-de-sac and Joy Fielding to make sure you get the right one. If you are interested in Cul-de-sac by Joy Fielding, it comes out August 10th. We're moving on. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this book, despite my groaning the minute I see it. There were some books last year when I first started doing this. I first started doing Teen New Book Tuesday that were sort of about massive viruses and what it would do to the world. And I was like, these are the The books are written years in advance. It often takes a year or more for the editing process. So to come out with one of those books a few months into COVID is surprisingly lucky timing. This is sort of the opposite of that, where Viral by Robin Cook, I just immediately am like, I don't want to talk about viruses anymore. But it's Robin Cook, and this sort of thing is what that author does. So in this electrifying new medical thriller from New York Times bestseller Robin Cook, a family's exposure to a rare yet deadly virus puts them at the center of a terrifying danger to mankind and pulls back the curtain on a healthcare system powered by greed and corruption. We are also getting this on audio. If you are interested in Robin Cook's Viral, it comes out August 17th. Moving on to Another Kind of Eden by James Lee Burke. This is the latest installment in the Holland family saga, although I believe it's able to stand alone relatively well. Set in 1960s Denver, aspiring novelist Aaron Holland Broussard finds work on a farm. There he meets Joanne McDuffie, an articulate and fierce college student and gifted painter. Their soul connection is immediate, but their romance is complicated by Joanne's involvement with a shady professor who is mixed up with a drug-addled cult. When a sinister businessman and his son, who wield their influence through vicious cruelty, set their sights on Aaron, drawing him into an investigation of grotesque murders, it is clear that this idyllic landscape harbors tremendous power and evil. Followed by a mysterious shrouded figure who might not be human, Aaron will have to face down all his foes to save the life of the woman he loves and his own. I need to. This already got a starred review from Booklist. We are also buying it on audio. If you are interested in Another Kind of Eden by James Lee Burke, it comes out August 17th. All right. The Husbands by Chandler Baker. Nora Spangler is a successful attorney, but when it comes to domestic life, she packs the lunches, schedules the doctor's appointments, knows where the extra paper towel rolls are, and designs and orders the holiday cards. Her husband works hard too, but why does it seem like she is always working so much harder? When the Spanglers go house hunting in Dynasty Ranch, an exclusive suburban neighborhood, Nora meets a group of high-powered women, a tech CEO, a neurosurgeon, an award-winning therapist, a best-selling author, with enviably supportive husbands. When she agrees to help with a resident's wrongful death case, she is pulled into the lives of the women there. She finds the air is different in Dynasty Ranch. The women aren't hanging on by a thread. But as the case unravels, Nora uncovers a plot that may explain the secret to having it all, one that's worth killing for. Calling to mind a Stepford Wives gender swap, the Husbands imagines a world where the burden of the second shift is equally shared and what it might take to get there. We are also getting this as an audiobook. If you are interested in The Husbands by Chandler Baker, it comes out August 3rd. The Turnout by Megan Abbott. Okay, this is a ballet novel. So, ballet flows through their veins. Dara and Marie Durant were dancers since birth, with their long necks and matching buns and pink tights. Homeschooled and trained by their mother, decades later, the Durant's School of Dance is theirs. The two sisters, together with Charlie, Dara's husband, and once their mother's prized student, inherited the school after their parents died in a tragic accident nearly a dozen years ago. Marie, warm and soft, teaches the younger students. Dara, with her precision, trains the older ones. And Charlie, back broken after years of injuries, rules over the back office. Circling around each other, the three have perfected a dance, 6 days a week, that keeps the studio thriving. But when a suspicious accident occurs, just at the onset of the school's annual performance of the Nutcracker, a season of competition, anxiety, and exhilaration, an interloper arrives and threatens the delicate balance of everything they've worked for. This got a starred review from Library Journal, Booklist, and Publishers Weekly. It is probably already on a short list for Best Book of the Year. We are also getting it on audio. If you are interested in The Turnout by Megan Abbott, it comes out August 3rd. All right, The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones. Rachel and Noah have been friends since they met at university. While they once thought that they might be something more, now, 20 years later, they are happily married to other people, Jack and Paige, respectively. Jack's brother Will is getting married to the dazzlingly impulsive Allie, and the group of 6 travels to Portugal for their destination weekend. As they arrive at a gorgeous villa perched on a cliff edge, overlooking towering waves that crash on the famous surfing beaches below at Nazaré, they try to settle into a weekend of fun. When Rachel is looking forward to getting to know her future sister-in-law Allie better, Allie can't help but rub many of the group the wrong way. Rachel's best friend Paige thinks Allie is an attention-seeking child, and while Jack is trying to support his brother Will's choice of wife, he is also finding plenty to disagree with Noah about. But when Rachel discovers something about Allie that she can hardly believe, everything changes. As the wedding weekend unfolds, the secrets each of them hold begin to spill, and friendships and marriages threaten to unravel. Soon, jumping to conclusions becomes the difference between life and death. We are also getting this on audio. If you are interested in The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones, it comes out August 3rd. All right, we only have 2 left. We have this one from the very popular Laura K. Hamilton. This is actually the beginning of a new series, book 1 of the series. Okay, give me a second. I need some tea. I need to breathe. Okay. So, A Terrible Fall of Angels. Meet Detective Daniel Havelock, a man with the special ability to communicate directly with angels. A former trained angel speaker, he devoted his life to serving both the celestial beings and his fellow humans with his gift. But a terrible betrayal compelled him to leave that life behind. Now he's a cop who is still working on the side of the angels. But where there are angels, there are also demons. There's no question that there's evil at work when he's called in to examine the murder scene of a college student. But is it just the evil that one human being can do to one another, or is it something more? When demonic possession is a possibility, even angelic protection can only go so far. The race is on to stop a killer before he finds his next victim, as Daniel is forced to confront his very own personal demons and the past he never truly left behind. All right, it sounds exciting. My sister loves Laurel K. Hamilton. I think so. I think she does. She reads a lot of fantasy, so it's very possible. At any rate, if you're interested in A Terrible Fall of Angels, it comes out August 17th. And our final book of the day, Blind Tiger by Sandra Brown. This is about Thatcher Hutton. Thatcher, a war-weary soldier on the way back to his cowboy life, jumps from a moving freight train to avoid trouble and lands in more than he bargained for. On the day he arrives in Foley, Texas, a local woman goes missing. Thatcher, the only stranger in town, is suspected of her abduction and worse. Standing between him and exoneration are a corrupt mayor, a crooked sheriff, a notorious cat house madam, a sly bootlegger, feuding moonshiners, and a young widow whose soft features conceal an iron will. Now, what was supposed to be a fresh start for Laurel Plummer turns to tragedy. Left destitute but determined to dictate her own fortune, Laurel plunges into a lucrative regional industry, much to the dislike of the good old boys, who have ruled supreme. Her success quickly makes her a target for cutthroat competitors whose only code of law is reprisal. As violence erupts, Laurel, and now Deputy Thatcher find themselves on opposite sides of a moonshine war, Where Blood Flows as Freely as Whiskey. We are also getting this on audio. So if you are interested in Blind Tiger by Sandra Brown, it comes out August 10th. All right. Just a reminder, if you need reminding, that if you want any of these books, put the name or names, if you've got more than one selection, in the comments below, plus your MPL location for pickup, and I will start giving them away in like 5 minutes. Don't forget our Goodreads group. You can see a list of series updates that I've already put up there that are coming in August and are hotly anticipated. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, it gives you a list of all of these books and lets you click on that title and go straight to our catalog so you can put them on hold. I will not be back for 2 weeks because I'm taking a Tuesday off next week. So when I come back on July 13th, we will discuss Yellow Labels, which, as you know, is mystery, thrillers, and suspense. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.